Greetings and welcome to another segment of Views from Bridge, brought to you by the Bridge Committee of the Greater Hartford Association of Realtors. I am your host, Lucas Nash, and I am joined today by the incredible Quentesia Brooks of the Brooks Token Incorporated. Brooks Token is a charitable community organization based out of Hartford. Quentesia, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me.
So tell us a little bit about Brooks Token. What is the scope of your work?
So the Token Incorporated was founded by myself in October of 2019, and what we are is a nonprofit organization that caters to fire victim families, homeless individuals, those returning home from incarceration, and those that are just simply having a hard day-to-day coping without the basic necessities. So we offer a full range of services. If you are a fire victim family who has recently displaced by fire, we provide security deposit assistance once you find a new place to move. But immediately, once they're burned out, we provide hot meals 3 nights a week to the hotels they're staying in, and we also provide clothing, shoes, their toiletries, and their basic necessities until they're able to get back on their feet. For those that are homeless, our doors are open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. They can walk in to our facility, get what they need, whether it be a coat, clothing, shoes, non-perishable foods. They may need to shower, depending on what we need to assist between 9 and 5, and they can walk in. Those that are returning home from incarceration, most times, for the most part, I work with a lot of the shelter and a lot of the halfway houses, a lot of the people that are returning home. They don't have family, they don't have belongings, so they're in need of clothing. Some of them are not also educated. We also do have a GE program that runs when the school year runs. So far, we've got 126 graduates from the GD program, so we're excited about that.
Wow.
So for those returning home from incarceration, thank you. So for those returning home from incarceration, we offer those services.
That's incredible. It sounds like you do such a broad range of work. Almost like you step out of your house in the morning, look around, and just roll up your sleeves.
That's the gist of it.
So let me ask, what inspires you to do this work?
I've always been into, my grandparents were always heavy in the community. My grandmother would feed anybody that came to our home, whether they knocked on the door, or stood outside. She would, always feed everyone. No one ever came and, left hungry. She was known in our neighborhood for people. So I got into that and learning to kind and give at a very young age. We were always taught that. Brought up in the church as well. We were taught that as well. We would learn at church, we would serve. So serving has been in my blood since I was about 5 years old. And I always love to, when you see homeless people, I always had that sadness, like, why are they out here? What's going on? I was always the inquisitive kid that would ask a lot of questions. And I always said, if I ever get rich, I'll make sure everybody has a bed, a place to stay. I would always say that as a kid. And then my teen years, I got involved in a lot of different programs, helping youth, serving, giving back, food shares, and things to that nature. And what inspired me with town is I worked in our actual building that we're in, 750 Main Street, on the 5th floor, a paralegal for the law firm, the Christie Law Firm. So every day, as I'm coming into the building, there are homeless people there, people with no shoes on, all types of stuff going on, asking for food, if you have any food in your work bag. And a lot of times they're out there and they're cold, and we have heat in the building, but they weren't allowed to be lit. So I would go down on my lunch break, give them stuff. If I'm going to get food, buy food, and I just felt so bad. I'm like, what can I do to help them? And the motion just started rolling in my head, like, what can I do? What can I do? And it just to me from there. I went home one night and said to my husband, I said, I'm going to open up a nonprofit. That's what I'm going to do. I don't know how I'm going to do it, where money's going to come from, but we're going to do it. And it just happened from there. I just started putting my plan in motion and get going.
And now here you are with the registered 501c3, doing good work in Hartford. Yeah. It's incredible because, to your point, as children, we see people experiencing homelessness, and it's natural to ask why. And we're always taught that just that way, and it doesn't need to be that way. So you inspire me personally. That's incredible. So what can our members do to help you with your cause?
Right now, where we are is in not so much of a bind, just like a whirlwind. Different things are happening. So much is happening in the world. Finances for people, hardship for a lot of families. So a lot more, we're being called on a lot more for things. Prices going up, families dealing with food issues. Now that children are out of school, they're eating more. So the need for us to be ever present is more. So we start to run out of things. So now it's just a matter of online applying for a lot of different grants, looking for funding, opened up a lot of things online for people to donate, non-perishable food, used clothing, things to that effect. We have a community coming up next Tuesday, in which we'll be giving everything away free. There's a real big need for clothing, shoes, stuff like that. So we're in like fundraising mode, just trying to raise funds to keep our rent going, and then also to be able to use the things that we need to spread out throughout the community. So generally, we've just been trying to fundraise and opening up opportunities for different organizations to partner with us as well. That's a great help to get things done, to be able to assist as much as we possibly can. So that's my biggest fear, us not being able to meet the needs sometimes. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. But we've been stretched really thin, but we've been holding it together.
And now this will probably air after your community event next week, but in general, if our members wanted to make a monetary contribution or donate food, non-perishable goods, warm clothing articles, I imagine socks are in high demand, things of that nature. Where could they make those contributions?
They could come right down to the token, 750 Main Street in Suite 610. Phone number is 860-263-7916. So you just call us up, let us know you to come. If you'd like to come in, take a look, a tour. If they're doing to drop things off, they would just call in and schedule that with us. We're also on all the apps. We have the Givelify app, Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, all the ones that you can probably think of, we're on. The Brooks token is on there.
Excuse me. So I think our feed may have cut out when you said your number, but I did see that your Cash app and Venmo and all that is available on your website. What is that website?
It is www.thebrookstokeninc.org.
www.thebrookstokeninc.org. That's wonderful. I encourage our members to look into you because you're doing good work.
Yes.
So one of the things that you touched on, I think is interesting, particularly to realtors. You have a deposit assistance program.
Yes. So we partner with My Sister's Place organization. And what happens is if they're displaced by fire, they would come in and register with us. We start what's called a success sheet for them. And their success sheet basically, they're stating the things that they would like to accomplish and what it's going to take for us to get there. And as we do them, we check them off. So the first thing of them is a W-9 form, which will go to the new landlord once they find a place. Landlord would then fill that out and return it to us so we know who the payment is being mailed to. And they're given a list of possible apartments in the streets and the numbers that have vacancies for them to rent. So once they found a place and established with the landlord that they can rent, we then take over and we send first month's rent and security deposit to the landlord. So that's been going on for us now for the past year and a half. And we've ran out of funding maybe 2 times, but then it comes right back within a couple of months. Hartford Foundation for Public Giving replenishes, and we're able to, keep going. So right now we have a couple of fire families that are actively looking and moved in 16 fire families over the past 2 weekends. We've had move-ins for 16 families. So we're excited about that. Um, and that's a great thing because we're there from the beginning to the end. Moving day, we're out there, we're helping them get moved in, getting them set up. We rally during that week. We collect things, curtains, blankets, pillows, and then we post everything afterwards once everyone's moved in and they're all, settled in. So that's been a big help for us within the greater Hartford area having that program because there are a lot of families that are in shelters and they have a hard time finding a place to stay because a lot of them don't have the funds for the security deposit. So the qualifications are really simple. They have to be working, making at least twice the rent, and able to pay it, continue to pay it afterwards. So we try to get them set up properly beforehand so they're not running into the situation where they moved in somewhere and they can't afford to rent. So we need to know ahead of time what they're making so we're not setting them up to say, okay, you're moving in somewhere that's 1,400, but you don't quite make that. So we try to find things that are within their income to not set them up for failure. So once they're in and they're placed, they're going forward after that first month is done from us.
Right. You want to be sure that you're setting people up for success.
Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful. And this is exclusively for people who have been displaced by fire?
Yes. So if you've been displaced by a fire, if you're homeless and currently working, they also qualify. And we also opened it up last year, just recently to battered women, because a lot of times we have people come in that have been through domestic violence, and they need to move. They need to get out of their situations. They have active domestic violence cases. We offer it to them as well if they need to do like a safe move. They're offered it as well. But if currently living in a shelter or residing in a sober house or a halfway house and you're looking for a fresh start, we offer it to them as well. Same qualifications. They just have to be working and able to afford the rent.
That's excellent. It sounds like you're helping a lot of people with this program. That's great.
Yes.
Well, Quentesia, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
This has been another segment of Views from the Bridge. If you have any questions about our program, you can reach us at GHAR@gharonline.com. Thanks so much for watching.